All right, today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and, let's be honest, controversial ideas in all of medicine. A pill that could give you the benefits of a workout without you ever having to step foot in a gym. It's called an exercise mimetics, and the very idea of it could literally change everything.
I mean, just think about that question. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But this isn't fantasy. It's driving some really serious cutting-edge research. The whole idea is to capture the powerful health-changing effects of physical activity and bottle them up in a pill. But the big questions are, should we? And maybe even more importantly, can we actually do it safely?
So you might be wondering, why are brilliant scientists even chasing this goal in the first place? Well, it all starts with a huge clash between our ancient biology and our modern world. It's something we can call the exercise paradox.
Okay, so think about it like this. Our bodies were literally forged in a completely different world. We evolved as hunter-gatherers, built for constant movement, for scarcity, for running down our next meal. But our lives today couldn't be more different. We're more sedentary than ever, and we're surrounded by excess calories that we can get with almost zero physical effort. And that has created this massive mismatch between our genes and our environment.
And here is the direct, staggering consequence of that mismatch. This number, 5 billion pounds, is the estimated excess weight carried by the population of the United States alone. It's a jaw-dropping figure that really helps visualize this global health crisis, and it's all rooted in that simple imbalance between the energy we eat and the energy we burn.
And here's the really crucial part. We know the solution. Physical exercise is one of the most powerful medicines we have. It's incredibly effective at preventing and even treating a whole host of chronic diseases, from obesity to diabetes. And yet, and this is the paradox, despite everyone knowing the benefits, for a ton of different reasons, most people just don't do it. And that is the problem that's fueling this whole search for an alternative.
So how in the world could a simple pill even begin to replicate something as complicated as a workout? Well, the secret isn't about, building biceps. It's about hijacking the invisible molecular signals that exercise sends pinging all throughout our bodies.
And this is the ultimate goal, an exercise mimetic. Again, the idea isn't to make you look like a bodybuilder. It's to trigger the deep metabolic changes that happen inside your cells when you exercise. Things like building more efficient little energy factories, called mitochondria, and getting your body to burn fat for fuel.
So here's how that secret signal of exercise actually works. Think of your muscles' energy stores like the fuel gauge in your car. When you work out, your muscles burn through their fuel, which is called ATP. That drop in energy is signal number one. It's like a low fuel warning light that flicks on sensors in the muscle. Those sensors then flip a master switch that tells the muscle, hey, we need to upgrade, build a bigger fuel tank and a more efficient engine for next time.
And at the very heart of this whole remodeling project is one key player, a co-activator called PGC1-alpha. You can think of it as the general contractor for muscle fitness. It's the one that orchestrates the whole construction project. And the big idea behind an exercise pill is to figure out a way to turn on that contractor, to flip that master switch without you ever having to break a sweat.
Now, this isn't just theory, not at all. There was a groundbreaking experiment back in the early 2000s that took this whole idea out of the realm of science fiction and made it feel tantalizingly real. So researchers decided to target one of the key members of that construction crew we just talked about, a receptor called PPR delta. It's one of the main switches that our general contractor, PGC1-alpha, flips to boost how we burn fat. The plan was pretty straightforward. Create a drug that could flip that switch directly. And that drug was called GW501516. It was actually developed way back in the 90s by GlaxoSmithKline. And the original goal was to treat things like high cholesterol. But a different lab got their hands on it and decided to see what it could do for endurance.
And the results were, well, they were absolutely astonishing. The mice that had this PPR delta gene activated could run for nearly twice the distance of their normal brothers and sisters. They basically became elite endurance athletes without a single day of training. It was a profound, unbelievable effect.
The media, of course, went wild. They were nicknamed the marathon mice. And just like that, the whole exercise in a pill idea exploded into the public imagination. It really seemed like a miracle cure was right around the corner.
But the story of GW501516 was about to take a very, very dark turn. This wasn't a miracle drug.
It turned out to be a really serious cautionary tale. So what happened? Why aren't we all taking this pill today to get in shape? Well, the simple answer is that it came with some incredibly dangerous side effects.
This timeline really shows you how fast that dream fell apart. After more than a decade of research and development, GlaxoSmithKline just abruptly stopped all clinical trials in 2007. And just 2 years later, it was officially banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. And here is the absolutely devastating reason why. It came out that in the animal studies, GW511516 was found to cause cancer to develop, and develop rapidly, even at pretty low doses. It turns out the very same mechanism that was supercharging endurance was also pouring gasoline on the fire of malignant cell growth.
And we're not just talking about one type of cancer here. I mean, look at this list of affected organs from the animal trials. It's extensive, and frankly, it's terrifying. The risk was just way, way too high for it to ever be used in humans.
But incredibly, even after being abandoned for being so dangerous, the promise of superhuman endurance was just too tempting for some people. The compound, which you can find on the black market under names like Endurable, became a notorious doping agent, and it's led to a lot of suspensions for elite athletes who are willing to roll the dice.
But the story doesn't stop there. You see, the spectacular failure of JW151516 didn't kill the concept. It just forced researchers to get smarter and find a safer way to get to the same goal.
And that brings us to the next generation. Today, researchers are targeting a completely different, though related, family of receptors called ERRs. The hope is that this new approach can flip all the right metabolic switches for endurance and fat burning without flipping the dangerous ones that lead to cancer.
And what's really, really important to remember here is the actual goal. As the lead researcher, Dr. Baha El-Gendi, makes very clear, the point isn't to replace the gym for healthy people. The real goal is to create a therapy for people who can't exercise. You know, the elderly, or people with muscle wasting diseases, heart failure, or other serious conditions.
Which leaves us with the big question hanging over all of this research. As science moves forward, we really have to ask ourselves, are we on the path to a genuine medical breakthrough for people who desperately need it? Or are we just creating a more sophisticated, and maybe just as dangerous, shortcut for everyone else? The final chapter of that story is still being written.